Oh man, I'm really gonna miss this place. So many memories. Wait, actually, how did I get here? Okay, never mind. Thanks for helping me move, Tariq.
You know, I'm pretty sure that you know other people who can help. Like, why did you call me?
You have never been in one of my videos.
Fair enough.
Okay, time to head to the new place. I think you're gonna like it.
Wow, this is dope. How did you afford this?
I had a little help from a friend.
Joshua.
Oh shit!
Okay, since we're in a different space, I guess I need to change. Okay, let's see what we got down here. Oh, my bad. See? I bet none of y'all knew that my favorite color is purple. I'm in such a good mood that... Okay, the wait's been too long. Let's get this video started.
Can I go now?
Great job, Tim. We're 4 months into 2022, and you only made 2 videos. I'm disappointed in you. Now, usually I'm able to blame the show I review for the reasons I take forever to make these videos, or I'll say it's because of my real job. But in all honesty, I've just been wasting time on social media. Yo, why the plane flapping like a bird? You should follow me on TikTok. I remember making a poll on Twitter last year asking you all which videos did you want to see for Halloween. What's funny was the fact that I actually thought that the show was going to win over Saw. But that didn't change the fact that I still wanted to make a video on the show. So that's why we're here. Gloom was a Canadian animated show released in 2006. It had 40 episodes with 2 seasons. The show is based on a character created by Martin Chu in 2001. 3 years later, his creation joined the Mighty Fine Apparel line. And if you look at the old drawings, you can quickly see that this version of Ruby had a darker tone because most of these are interesting. Gloom became popular enough to the point Martin Chu sold the rights to Gloom to Nelvana, the company responsible for Jacob Tutu, 16, Max and Ruby, etc. I'm not sure if this is real or not, but apparently there was a 2003 pilot of Gloom. The show seemed to have a darker tone, and it was also done with CG instead of Flash.
In fact, I am so happy I could just die.
It doesn't look bad, but how we got from this to a lighthearted cartoon is still beyond me. Anyways, the show premiered on October 13th. The show was received pretty well from both critics and audiences, even gaining a cult following through the years. I didn't know a thing about the show until 2020. My little sister watched it on Tubi a lot, but for some reason she only watched the first episode over and over again. But hey, I wasn't complaining. For a while, I wanted to give the show a watch. I've seen the fan art, I've seen the random appreciation posts on Twitter, I've even seen a friend of mine tell me they liked the show. So that's why I invited my good friend Bruh Toons. Don't follow his Twitter account. The biggest pervert, one of the funniest people I've ever met.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Kang of Bruh Toons, back at it again on Timothy's videos, and I'm still not getting any royalties. We'll discuss that later, Tim.
You send me 20 minutes worth of audio in that Pixar video, you get no royalties. Okay, for real this time. I made y'all wait long enough, so without further ado, let's take a look at Gloom, featuring Kang. Okay, so let's start with our main character, Gloom. She's not the gothic character from those drawings. She's such a nice person, man. She's a good-hearted character with little to no flaws. The only time I could think of her acting out of character was in that 2-part musical in season 2. There's a part of this episode where Ruby doesn't know what to tell Schoolboy. Ruby is always the one to have the advice that everyone needs to hear. But after hearing Schoolboy is leaving, she doesn't know how to handle it.
I'm so happy for you. You have to do what you have to do. Follow your... If you... Oh, I'm sorry. For once, I don't know what to say.
I thought that part of her character was interesting. Besides that, I like Ruby as a character. Even though one of her biggest problems is that she has no flaws, I still like Ruby. Misery is my favorite character. I just love how even though everything seems to go wrong around her, she tries to stay positive while she's with her friends. I'm serious when I say everything goes wrong around her. In the theme song, while everyone is dancing for fun, she's dancing to keep herself from getting electrocuted. There's also an episode where Schoolboy and Poe go back in time, and they see Misery's ancestors cause the Titanic to crash.
Too late.
That is wild. Misery is a great character. She's usually the reason I'm laughing at the show. Schoolboy is an interesting character as well. It seems like almost every episode he's taken on a different personality. One minute he's an artist, the next minute he's a filmmaker, or even a train conductor. He spends most of the time trying to find out who he truly is. So that's why he's always changing career plans every few episodes. I do like this aspect of Schoolboy. He's a good part of the show.
After all, you're the idea guy around here, Skullboy.
I am?
Yep. I'm sure you'll knock 'em dead.
Iris is the energetic one. She seems to be the character that hurts herself due to the weird things she gets herself into. Like I said, she's energetic. She has these bouncing shoes that usually bounce her out the window or through the ceiling. There's not much I can really say about Iris. She's hard-headed, but she's very fun to be around. Poe's okay, I guess. I don't hate him, and I couldn't really see the show without him, but he doesn't have that many memorable moments. Besides that one scene where he almost cursed.
Bats will not harm you. I told them, let pass. The ghouls are a problem. Best watch your...
Yo, I'm telling mom.
Scaredy Bat's name should really give you an idea of how this character is in the show. He's scared of everything. Nursery rhymes, his own reflection, my inconsistent uploads. You get the picture. He's annoying in some parts, but he does make me laugh sometimes. In my notes, I wrote that Frank and Lynn were funny, and I don't know, man. They're annoying sometimes. I don't hate them though. Some things they say are funny, but most of the time I'm just rolling my eyes. Doom is Ruby's cat, and she's really clever. I love the fact that every time she moves or conveys any emotion, it's portrayed with a violin.
Ooh, let's see. You were attacked by a pack of rabid wolverines and dragged into their closet-like lair.
Lastly, we have the ghost Boo Boo, who will occasionally make an appearance in episodes. He's annoying. That's all I'm saying. I hope Kang send me log audio or this segment will be short.
Ruby Gloom's a pretty fun show. Nothing too special, but the style and setting is on point, along with the animation. The characters are especially a highlight with the unique designs they have based on the creatures they represent. An episode I feel showcases all of them and their characteristics at their best is Skullboys Don't Cry. Everyone joins or makes up clubs based on their personal interests or activities, such as hair club, fright club, whatever the hell Poe's got going on, and it's all in good fun. Everyone is in the club except Skullboy. See, his deal throughout the show is that he has no idea where he comes from or where he's supposed to be, so he bounces from club to club trying to find his own purpose. Then the episode, he reaches out to Ruby, the main protagonist, and has a huge crush on Skullboy, on advice when finding a club. When he goes back and forth between clubs, he even tries to make up his own club with himself. Bro, struggling out here for real. There's also a minor subplot about Misery's hair being stiff as hell. Doesn't help that she's a banshee who struggles with bad luck, and her family is being single-handedly responsible for all the world's tragedies and natural disasters. So yeah, we got someone to thank for 2020 and the pandemic. At least she looks cute with an afro in that episode.
What in fuck's name are you doing?
That's one of my golden stars right there, Misery. You invited to the cookout. Anyways, Skullboy is down on his luck. With his identity crisis, he comes across the coolest dudes in the show, Skelly T and the Skeleton, the Mardi Gras band of skeletons who join Skullboy and make a club with him. They're pretty cool. I know how they play that heat with that New Orleans style music, or Narlands if you want to be part of the culture. They play too damn much though and disappear whenever Skullboy tries to introduce them to his friends. That's a bitch move, Scully T, but you're still cool, so I'm gonna let it slide. By the end of the episode, everyone comes together for their respective clubs for a big party and finally meet up with Skullboy, dressed like a pimp and talking in broken slang. This poor white skeleton boy. They meet outside in the graveyard and finally meet the Skeletoons, jamming out and walking on by. This episode was pretty much the best way to describe the series. Cute, simple, creepy aesthetics, and morals on friendship with a hint of altruism. It's a solid series, and I'm glad you could have me on, Tim. Thanks again. But anyways, back to you, homie. Take care. Better give me them royalties, nigga. Alright, peace out, y'all. Take care now. Ha ha ha.
The thing I noticed while watching the show were pretty interesting. The episodes are paced really well. I can't think of a moment where I felt like the episode was dragging or even rushing. Even the episodes I thought were just fine were paced pretty well. Now thinking about it, there are no bad episodes really. The worst the show has gotten was episode 11, where a random bunny comes by and Doom sees something is up, since everything in the house is going missing. And of course, Ruby thinks Doom is lying. Yeah, I knew what type of episode this was going to be from the start. Not a big fan of this one, but that's the thing, it's not an awful episode, it's just okay. Episodes are pretty laid back in delivery, especially their jokes. The humor usually hits, and sometimes miss, or they'll overstay their welcome.
Maybe I'm dreaming all this.
Only one way to find out.
Ow! Okay, I'm not dreaming, but maybe you're dreaming.
Ow!
Ow! Ow!
Like seriously, one pinch should have been enough to make the joke work. I dig the show's art style too. I love the way everything is designed here. Even though everything in the show is supposed to be dark, like seriously when it's daytime is cloudy, every character pops out. However, the animation can get weird at some points. For instance, Ruby facing forward looks so off. As a matter of fact, anytime the characters make any face that isn't their default face, it looks so weird. I already mentioned Ruby, but this scene right here of Misery lying down looks so ugly. But I will admit, it did make me laugh, which now thinking about it was probably the point. Although what I'm saying aren't flaws, just nitpicks, because the show does give us good looking moments here and there. Season 2 is like the biggest upgrade I've ever seen. Like, look how Ruby moves in Season 1 compared to Season 2.
What's a girl gotta do to get a little privacy around here? I can't wait to pick Doom up from her kitty spa.
Season 2 Ruby is so expressive, man. I don't know why I found this so satisfying to watch. Before we get to the episodes, I want to go over the voice talents in the show. I might butcher the last name, please don't make fun of me. Sarah Godin voices Ruby Gloom. When she's conveying more emotions other than happiness, she does a good job at a role. Scott McCord voices Schoolboy. I like the fact that he's able to change his voice whenever Schoolboy finds a different hobby. I legit find it impressive. Lastly, I want to bring up Emily Hampshire as Misery, because she's literally the reason Misery is so funny. Misery may be crying and moping all the time, but she's so funny and doesn't try to be. And apparently Misery sings on the show when she's asleep. Her singing voice is done by Gene O'Brien, and it's not bad at all. Oh yeah, everyone else is good too. Okay, I've read all my notes, so it's time we get into the episodes. Thankfully, Tubi puts them in order, so I recommend Tubi if anyone wants to watch the show. Okay, seriously, let's watch Ruby Gloom. Ha! After this intermission.
Timothy Reviews will be right back after these messages.
Okay, so season 1 was well done, surprisingly. The first episode is named Gloomer Rumor. The plot is essentially Ruby planning a party, but once everyone overhears Ruby's planning, they think that Ruby's moving, except for Frank and Lynn. They think that Ruby's dying. So they consistently harass her until Ruby reveals to everyone that this was just a party all along. I know this episode sounds extremely basic, but I promise you this episode isn't all that bad. It introduces all these characters without making it feel like they're being forced into this episode. Not only that, there are some funny moments in this episode.
I'm so happy. Your turn.
This is a nice introduction to the show. It gives you an idea how the show is going to be going forward. You see Schoolboy as a painter, claiming he was meant to do this, Misery trying to be as happy as possible, and Iris being Iris. Episode 3 was the introduction of Boo Boo, the ghost. He's trying to scare everyone in the house, but the only one that sees him is Doom. I'm not sure how that works, but Doom tries to prove that she's not tripping. Later on in the episode, they find a way to save Boo Boo the ghost, and the show goes downhill after that. Yep, that's the video. This episode is not too bad. I think it has funny moments here and there. Science Fair or Foul is a simple yet fun episode. If Schoolboy wanted to build him a dad. Yes, there are many jokes I can make here, but I'm a mature guy.
Would you look at that? We're out of milk. Is it hot in here? No, it's not. I'm gonna just go to the store, get some milk.
James, wait!
I like the plot for the episode Unsung Hero. Frank and Lynn are looking for a girl to sing on their new song. I know I cannot be the only one that thinks all their songs sound the same. But anyways, everyone finds out that Misery can sing only when she's asleep. So they find ways to keep her asleep until she sleeps long enough to the point she can't be woken up. Then she wakes up. That was quick.
Switzerland 1518. Avalanche!
They get her to sleep at the last minute and they perform. Like I said earlier, I like the plot. That's not the problem. Some jokes overstay their welcome here. Like that painting scene I played earlier is from this episode. Not only that, this scene while they're at the table is just not clicking for me. It's just like a haunted house too. Completely off subject, but if you watch this scene and still somehow find this shit funny, you are lying to yourself. Go watch the Batman instead. I talked about episode 11 earlier, so let's move on. Happy Yamween is his typical Christmas episode. Pretty good though. Time Flies isn't too bad either. Schoolboy goes through history to find out more about his past, but instead runs into Misery's relatives. This is because Misery gave a random presentation about her family, which I thought was pretty funny. I like to see the alternate versions of Misery. Truth or Dare is odd. While not a bad episode, it sort of just ends abruptly. It's mainly about Scaredy Bat being scared about losing his tooth, and then the episode just ends with him losing his tooth. I don't know, but something about this episode felt off. Nana 2 was a great episode, man. Schoolboy wants to make a movie. But once he starts to film, he realizes that his ideas are a bit too ambitious, so he decides to tone it back a bit by making an animated feature. But once ScaredyBat catches a glimpse of the film, he jumps to the conclusion that Skullboy is dissing his friends. Everyone talks about it until Skullboy overhears the conversation, but he thinks they don't like the film, so he decides to rework it. It's the big premiere, and everyone is kind of nervous because they don't know how they will react to the film. After they see the new version of the film, the reactions are mixed. After Skullboy tells everyone why he made these changes, they ask to see the original version, and they love it. I love the plot for this episode. Pretty much anything that has something to do with filmmaking or animation always piques my interest, so that's why I dig this one. Oh yeah, the season finale is pretty good too.
Who you think I am?
Season 1 is pretty good, not gonna lie. At first I thought the show was gonna have at least 1 or 2 decent episodes here and there, but I was happy to say there was only 1 alright episode. The rest aren't all that bad. They're paced pretty well, and when the jokes hit, they hit. RWBY Gloom Season 1 was a surprise, no joke.
Ow.
I guess we gotta go to the second/last season, huh? Season 2 is just better in every aspect. The animation sees the biggest glow up ever. Like I said earlier, when the characters don't make their default face, it looks so off. And it happens a lot here. And it's not a bad thing, it just took a while to get used to. But nonetheless, it looks good in some scenes. The first episode of the season is Writing on the Wall. When everyone is in the house washing their clothes, they find hieroglyphics on the wall. And everyone in the house comes up with their own idea of what it could be. But it's revealed at the end Misery drew them all along.
I wanted to celebrate the anniversary of my great-great-great-grandmother Cleo's getting bitten by a snake.
Why did that make me laugh? It's a nice way to start the season though. Deja Vu again is interesting, but I like this episode. RWBY is hosting the Gloomsville World Fair, but nothing seems to work out in their favor. So she goes to sleep and wakes up the next day to repeat the same thing. The day keeps on repeating itself until RWBY makes the fair run well. It's funny to see everyone look at RWBY like she's crazy, but it's like, how is RWBY the only one affected by this? They never explain how the day kept repeating itself, but it's a good episode overall.
Today is tomorrow, everybody. Today is tomorrow. I don't get it.
Tell me come over.
Season 2 has 2 episodes that have 2-parters. The first one was a musical called Hairless the Musical. Part 1 is about Skullboy trying to find out who he is. The first song we hear from Skullboy helps us understand his struggle. The rest of the episode is everyone trying to make Skullboy feel better. RWBY's the first, and the song's pretty decent. It's nothing new, it's just telling Skullboy to look on the bright side. Next is ScaredyBat, and his song is okay. Nothing memorable, but I love RWBY's design during the song. I don't know why, but it just looks good. Next, they go to Bo. And honestly, I don't like the song. It's pretty much them saying very for the majority of the song. But even after that, Skullboy still doesn't feel better. The scene with Iris isn't the song, it's just gibberish. Frank and Lynn's songs sound like another song they already did, and Misery's song isn't too bad. But nothing seems to work for Skullboy. That is until he runs into Skelly T. They give him a chance to join his crew, and he accepts. So this means that he has to leave, which upsets everyone, especially RWBY. The final song has a few funny parts, but it feels genuine, and that's why I like it so much. You can feel how hurt everyone is about the fact that Skullboy is leaving. And man, this final shot is just beautiful. Some of the songs are good, but there are a few duds. It didn't hurt my experience though. Okay, we got a second part. This episode shows how everyone is doing after Skullboy leaves. Everyone back at home is upset, and Skullboy is trying to adapt to his new surroundings. RWBY and the gang try to move on, but struggle to do so. And Skullboy starts to notice that he's not fitting in. As the episode goes on, Skullboy slowly realizes that he misses his friends, so he decides to go back home. It's also the part where RWBY and the gang go out to see Skullboy at the same time he's trying to come back. This is definitely the only flaw with this episode. It doesn't feel dragged, it just feels unnecessary. I will say the ending is sweet. This is definitely better than the first part. I like the songs in part 2 more than part 1, and I recently found the behind the scenes for this episode, and you can see how much fun everyone is having making this. I just love to see it. Okay, I wasted enough of your time. In other words, this video is taking too long. Let's talk about the final episode. The final episode is another 2-parter. It's set up like a murder mystery on a train. Everyone is there to pick up Doom from a kiddie spa, so they decide to take a train. Once they get on the train, a bunch of weird stuff start to pop off, but the main concern is Poe going missing at the end of the first part. I know I summed that up quickly, but I dig part 2 more. The whole episode is everyone trying to find Poe, with RWBY acting like a detective.
Come on, guys. Break it up. There's nothing that good old-fashioned detective work can't solve.
I may like this part more, but it's nothing amazing. Poe was just stuck in the bathroom the whole time, so that wasn't much of a reveal. Even though the reveal wasn't anything spectacular, everything that happened beforehand was some good stuff. This is probably my favorite episode of the series, not only because the episode is funny, but it ends off perfectly. They finally make it to Doom so they can go home, but the train breaks down, literally, so they walk home. What I love about the final shot of the show is that it ends the way it begins. They walk off with their silhouettes, just like the intro of the show. When I saw this for the first time, I just smiled. I just love it when a show can end and the characters leave off at a good spot.
Really? A massage? And did you get a manicure too?
RWBY Gloom was a treat to get through. I said this in my Saw video before. Oh yeah, remember when I was going off on Twitter and shit, saying my mic wasn't working, and the Saw video sounded like ass? Turns out my mic wasn't on the whole time. I am not joking. I found this out a few months ago and I was too embarrassed to say so. Feel free to laugh at me. I'm distracted. Basically what I'm saying is that I love to watch stuff that's not trying to be a masterpiece. Every now and then, I like to watch shows like RWBY Gloom. With that being said, I really enjoy RWBY Gloom a lot. The show has a lot of charm and personality to set itself away from other shows. I love the characters of the show, the art style was good, and the writing was usually on point. RWBY Gloom was a one-of-a-kind show, and I'm kind of going to miss watching it. The show is on YouTube, but watch the show on Tubi to see the bright side of the dark side. Sorry for the wait, y'all. I just be tired. The next video is going to be Sonic Underground because I wanted to watch it. So yeah, that's it. These end credit things I'm doing right now are going to be skits, but I couldn't think of one at the time, so yeah. Okay, I'm done. For real this time. Bye.
Seem to go